Sorry. Remember what I said. The fourth person who swapped the cards made one critical error. He or she wasn't considering the colour of the backs of the cards. Right. But how could such an obvious mistake occur? The cards used for the last game were red. Yet, there is one person here in our court who thought those cards were blue. Yeah, I had that impression too, but why? Well, Apollo, think you can figure out who it was? It's not me, I swear. I think I know where this is going. Who is this fourth person? Why do we always get put on the spot like this? Let's hear what the defense has to say. Who was it? Who thought the cards used in the final game were blue? He mentioned it. Oh no! Wow, our mentors are fucking phony. Sorry, mentor. As I expected. Your eyes and ears are as sharp as your hair. I was right. Christoph Gavin, you were the fourth person that night. But of course Mr. Gavin knows the colour of the cards. How would he? As you can see, the photo of the crime scene is black and white. You can't tell which of the cards are blue, the ones on the floor or the table. But look! You can see the colours in this photo. Actually, that deck's blue. Yes, but when he said the cards were blue, it was well before this evidence came to light. It's true that the defendant was engaged in a game of poker with the victim. It was only that, a game, in the purest sense. A competition, Your Honour. A competition? Yes, a test of wits. A silent clash of passions. Only the cards, their backs wreathed in— Oh, yeah! Oh, wow. I'm pretty sure regardless of who you present, though, it will automatically correct itself, even if you get it wrong. Only the cards, their backs wreathed in blue flame, know its final outcome. Well, Christoph? Oh. Mr. Gavin? Mr. Gavin, is something the matter? No, nothing. Excuse me, it was just so sudden. Right, you aren't seriously accusing me, are you? Oh, Christoph. You know, even I'd never take a joke this far. This has gone beyond ridiculous, beyond dumb, this is insanity. The defendant accusing his own defense attorney of murder? I assure you, I'm quite sane. But what possible connection could Mr. Gavin have to the victim? I wasn't aware that I had no connection. Not that I had a connection to Mr. Smith either. Yes, but Mr. Gavin and the victim have never even met. Well, what if they have? There is a possibility, after all. They may have met that night before the game started. What are you suggesting? Is this the truth Mr. Wright was staying silent about? Well, only one thing to do. Mr. Wright, the defense would like to request that you testify to the court. Of course he'd object. The defense would like to request no such thing. Mr. Gavin? Testimonies must relate to the case. How could anything happening before that game of poker be related? Interesting. I'm not sure I follow, Mr. Gavin. As I explained before, the defense believes that Miss O'Reilly... O'Reilly? Am I to assume you speak for Mr. Justice in this? He is the defense, not you. Ah! Mr. Justice, the matter of Mr. Wright's testimony is up to you. Oh, okay. Does the court, in your opinion, need to hear Mr. Wright's testimony? Yes. This was Mr. Wright's strategy. He was planning this all along. And I intend to see it through. The defense would like to request that Mr. Wright testify to the court. It too, Justice, you would betray me, your teacher. I'm sorry, Mr. Gavin, this isn't about loyalty, this is about the truth. Yeah, bitch. Ha! Very well. The defendant, Mr. Wright, will take the stand, please. Appetite before murder. That evening, Christoph and I had dinner. Wait, we sat at the table in this photograph. Shoddy Smith walked in 5 minutes after Christoph left. When the trap failed, Smith hit the waitress. The girl was knocked out cold, and Smith was uncontrollable. I left to call the police. When I returned, he was dead, blood streaming from a cut on his forehead. That's when I made another phone call, to defense attorney Gavin. Okay. Mr. Gavin, you were at the Bosch Bowl Club? The night of the murder? I dine with him rather frequently. And he talked to the defendant on the phone directly after the murder? Quite against my will. I had become involved in a murder. I thought I might be in need of a lawyer, so I called him. You were planning this all along, weren't you? Right. Just because you wanted to drag me into your little murder trial. The only thing I want is the truth. As I did back then. And now. I thought my office was doing you a favour when we took on your defence. It appears that I was wrong. Very well. The defence may cross-examine the witness. Justice? Sir. He's lying. And you're going to expose him. Understood, sir. Mr. Gavin versus Mr. Wright. This can't end well. Why can't I have a normal trial? Because it wouldn't be interesting if it wasn't normal. God, I just want to keep pressing. Press! Press! As I scream at you. You had dinner with Mr. Gavin? Yes, he dines with me at the Ball Club quite frequently. We were enjoying a usual dinner at our usual spot. As usual. Okay. Usual. I always eat at the table closest to the piano. I see. Where Mr. Smith was sitting. So, the plates and such on the table were from your dinner? Indeed. The remnants of my meal with Christoph. We dined for 2 hours, then Christoph left. After that... Oh right, yeah. Moves on to the next part. So Shoddy Smith walked in 5 minutes after Christoph left. Oh yeah. Bum bum bum. 5 minutes. So, the two of them could have passed in the restaurant during that time? That would have been a fateful encounter, to be sure. Of course. Look at that shit-eating grin. Oh, Mr. Wright. What was it you said? Christoph Gavin and Shoddy Smith may have met. I believe I did say that. Here I was all nervous about this meeting. And now we hear they just passed in the hall? That does seem a little weak as a pretense for murder. Oh, it would be, if that was all that really happened. Come on, Mr. Wright. What are you hiding from this time? So, when the trap failed, Smith hit the waitress. About this failed trap. This is the same trap that Miss Olga Orley mentioned. I keep calling her Ollie instead of O'Reilly, but whatever. The plan was simple, elegant really. You see, we set up a trap of sorts. I was to plant a card in Wright's pocket beforehand, and then deal 5 aces during one of their games. When their hands were revealed, Smith would call him out and search Wright. He would then pull out the planted card, and the trap would snap shut. But it failed. You swap the cards. Just like that, the legend would be dashed into pieces. If it didn't fail. Yes, a harmless prank in essence. It was by a quirk of fate that I happened to discover it. A quirk? I happened to put my hand in my pocket and I found a card. The card she planted. Yes, I snuck a peek at it and found it was the 5 of hearts. I had a feeling something might happen, so I disposed of the card. Before the game. Disposed? Where? There was an empty bottle of grape juice I had been drinking right beside me. I threw the card inside the bottle. Oh. An empty bottle of grape juice. The murder weapon? Yes, I rolled it up and shoved it in. The coloured glass makes it hard to see. A battle of wits between the deceiver and the would-be deceived. That sounds like terrific drama. A card inside the murder weapon. That's strange. Did the police miss it in their investigation? Maybe I'll take a look. Mr. Wright, the poker head of courtroom number 3 approves of this battle of wits. Please provide your testimony with this new information. So I discovered the trap during the game and disposed of the card in the bottle. Can I examine the bottle? What if I like check the top? No? Okay, what about if I go the other way and check the bottom? Yeah, there's nothing in it. The bottle is completely empty. Huh? How? It's empty. I'm confused. Mr. Wright, if I may... Yes? I've examined the bottle and I don't see any card in here. No. What? Mr. Wright, surely... isn't all you have to say for yourself. I can't say that I know what happened to the card. I did put it in that bottle, however. Huh? Perhaps a 5th person came and took it out. Oh, and a 6th person could have helped. Mr. Gavin, Mr. Wright is your client. My apologies, Your Honour. I won't have you disparaging our investigation either. We looked inside that bottle. There was nothing. So what's going on? Is Mr. Wright hoodwinking us again? Or did the card just disappear? That's hard to believe. In any case, please continue the cross-examination. I'm afraid decisive contradictions call for decisive evidence. Oh. Push him harder, Justice. Break him. It's just you and the witness in the ring. Go for the KO. Ugh, why do I get the feeling we're not on our client's side anymore? Well, we are. It's more the fact that Christoph isn't. Hey, it's Lip Dip. How's it going? Wait, so that evening, Christoph and I had dinner, sat at the table in the photograph. Okay, so we've already been through this. The girl was knocked out cold. Smith was uncontrollable. I left to call the police. Did I read? I think I pressed on that. I'll press this too. That's good, I'm glad to hear that. You made the call to the police from the 1st floor of the restaurant, correct? Exactly. Cell phones don't get a signal down in the hideout. Was anyone else on the 1st floor at that time? Not a soul. It was the middle of the night after all. So, there, in the darkened restaurant, I called the cops. After making the call, I returned to the hideout. It didn't seem right to leave the injured waitress alone. So, when I returned, he was dead, blood streaming from a cut on his forehead. Right. Oops. I missed clicking the present button. Yeah, with this. Oh wow, why did I press the bottle? Ah, I'm an idiot. Skip it, skip it. I fucked it up. Jesus, I lose a right chunk. Jesus, that actually does a lot. Whew. I was thinking way too quickly there. Cut on his forehead. I don't need that. It's the crime scene photo, not that one. This one, I think. Unless... is it in that picture? That picture, is it in that bottle? Because there's 2 bottles, I think. Yeah, there's a bottle of grape juice here, too. Oh, wait, no, there's an entire crate of grape juice. Then again, how would he know about the forehead? No, I was mostly still thinking about the bottle. But no, how would he know about the forehead? The hat's... he's got a hat on. Phoenix, explain yourself, after my fuck up. Mr. Wright, if I may. Yes? Take a look at this photograph of the crime scene. See the victim here? He's wearing a hat. I wouldn't think you could see blood on his forehead. Good point. Oh, that's all he has to say. Justice. Next time you point out an inconsistency, put a little more oomph into it. Mr. Wright, can you explain this to the court? I forgot to mention something. I was the one who put that hat on his head. Huh? You? You put the hat on the dead man's head? He wore it through our entire poker game. After calling the police, when I returned to the scene, his head was in full view. Shining bright, just like in this photograph. And I picked his hat up off the floor and put it on his head. Why'd you do a thing like that? All I can say is, I'm sorry. But that's the only thing I touched at the crime scene. So, Missa really didn't see it. It being the victim's, his head. I think not. She was out cold. I believe I was the only one who witnessed his head. Here we go again. Mr. Gavin? Pardon? It just seems that our client is determined to lie his way through this case. Hey, he's still our client, isn't he? I believe that's enough of that. Mr. Gavin? This witness's testimony is more like a travesty. It's riddled with lies. I'm beginning to see how you came to lose your attorney's badge 7 years ago. Well, you certainly have a unique way of treating your clients, Christoph. I never knew. I believe it was you who threw the first stone. Jesus. Mr. Wright, if you intend to ever tell the truth about this case, it's now or never. Don't be misled. I haven't told a single lie here. Eh? When I noticed the trap, I put the card in the bottle to dispose of it. And when I put the hat on the victim's head, let's just say I had a reason for doing that as well. A reason? That reason is right here. Your cell phone? That night, recall that I spoke with defense attorney Gavin after calling the police. Just in case, I recorded our conversation. What's this? And now that we're all here, I see no reason why I shouldn't play it back for the court. Christoph, I seem to be in a bit of trouble. What's this? Game not going well? Something like that. That gentleman who challenged you, he turned out to be good? He turned out to be dead. Someone hit him. Hard. You mean someone cracked that flawless bone china plate at Pate? It wasn't you, was it? Me? Please. The cops should be here any minute. I'm in your hands. Should it come to that. Bone china plate. A kind of porcelain, very smooth and shiny. And not plate, but pate. Not pate. I believe he was referring to a certain gentleman's balding forehead. But how would he know if he was wearing a hat? The court appreciates the defendant's discretion in not indicating my forehead. Wait a second, something's not right about the phone call. So, after Mr. Gavin ate dinner with you, he left the Bosch Bowl Club. Most certainly. Then, how did he know? When did he see this bone china plate? Whatever the fuck that word is. Oh, that's right. Yes. That was when I began to see my good friend in a different light. Troubled, I returned to the crime scene. And when I spotted Mr. Smith's head again, I realised exactly what was wrong. Well, Mr. Gavin, the stage has been set. Perhaps you would like to explain this to the court. Exactly how did you come by your privileged knowledge of the victim's head? So, this is your reason. The reason why you put the victim's hat back on. Your point, Mr. Gavin? It's come down to this, has it? Phoenix Wright? Oh my. Jesus. Order. I will have order, Mr. Payne. Yes, Your Honour. I believe this court has been left with no other choice. Are you prepared to hear Defence Attorney Gavin's testimony? Well, as the prosecutor, Jesus. Very well, we'll break for 10 minutes. After which, Mr. Gavin will take the stand for a cross-examination. Are we all clear on that? Crystal clear, Your Honour. Very well. This will be the final recess for the day. Yay! Oh my. Mr. Gavin and Mr. Wright are both in the judge's chamber. Who'd have thought today would turn out like this? May I? Whoa! Huh? What? Hello, sir. Please, pick a card. What's all this about? Is this one okay? Excellent. I have a message for you. The last hand is about to be played. You'll need a trump card to make it. A trump card? The card you have chosen is magical. Use it wisely. The game is yours. That's all. Oh, okay. An ace. Where do I remember that card from? Mr. Smith's hand has 3 aces, and Mr. Wright's 2. It is 5 aces in all. Oh! Wait. It is true, I have seen it. The 5th ace. There was cheating, I swear to you. Wait a minute. So there was a 3rd ace. I like how it says Capcom at the bottom. The missing 5th ace. Wait, this blotch of red. Is this blood? Now, you have your trump card. Now it's up to you to cut the deck and draw. The truth. My father's fate is in your hands. I know you can do it. Hey! We'll find her name out soon enough. This blood-stained card is my trump card for finding the truth? I fell deep into thought as my mind raced to understand what this all meant. That girl. I'd seen her recently, but where? That's when I made the connection. The locket. Yeah, she looks a bit older. Bloody ace added to the court record. Received from a mysterious girl. Alright. Court will now reconvene. Defense Attorney Christoph Gabin, will you please take the stand? Now then, if you would, Mr. Payne. Boom. Yes, Your Honour. Will the witness state his name and occupation? Is this farce necessary, Your Honour? Believe me. Far stranger things have gone on in this courtroom. Yeah, like when we questioned a bird. Fine, I'll play along. First, there's one thing we need to have made clear. How did you know about the secret beneath the victim's hat? By secret, I'm guessing he means the fact that Mr. Smith was bald. Forgive my curiosity, but what is it about this fellow's head? Your Honour seems to have an inordinate interest in it. Oh, Phoenix! Hmm? I wouldn't call it inordinate, Mr. Gavin. Oh, I know this song. Mr. Wright! What do you think you're doing, Wright? Wow, things sure look different. From the other side. You know what I mean, Apollo? Speaking of looking from the other side, let's consider something for a second. The victim wore that hat all night, never once taken it off, except for that one time. That one time being the instant he was hit. Oh! When Mr. Wright returned from reporting the crime, the hat was lying on the floor. Mr. Wright picked it up and placed it on the victim's head. In other words, in order to have seen Mr. Smith's bald head, you would have had to be at the scene of the crime. At the time of the crime. In other words, you'd have to be the real killer. Is what you're trying to say. Ooh, his demeanour changed. Not bad, Apollo. Yeah! Mr. Gavin? I'm afraid that I haven't been entirely honest with the court. What? Oh, I assure you. I had the noblest of intentions. I did it all to protect my client, Mr. Wright. Yeah, I'm afraid, in the current situation, I see little reason to hide anything. Very well. Allow me to tell you the truth of what happened that night. Finally, you may begin your testimony. Tell us, how were you involved in the events of that fateful night? He's gonna try and spin this on Phoenix, isn't he? Mm-hmm. So, that fateful night. The rage I sensed in that man that night troubled me, so I returned to the club. I went down to the basement and peeked in through the little window to the hideout. Must have been right after the murder took place. The victim was dead, as he appears in the photo. A bald head, an unconscious girl, and Wright holding a bottle in his hand. I sensed that was not the best place for me to be at the time, and so I left. That's when the call came from Wright. Oh, okay. Oh god. Oh, I've got the hiccups and burps. So you witnessed the murder. For better or worse, I missed the actual moment of the deed. Mr. Gavin, may I remind you that you are on Mr. Wright's defense team. Your testimony is clearly disadvantageous to your client. So I don't give a shit. What else could I say? I'm standing on the witness stand, after all. So you are, Mr. Gavin. And you had to testify as you just did. You had to tell them you saw the scene of the crime through that little window. Mr. Wright? You had to say that, because that was the only probable window of opportunity, right, Apollo? Oh. Mr. Wright, the defense should do the cross-examination, not the defendant. Mr. Justice, are you prepared? Yes, Your Honor. I can't believe I'm going up against Mr. Gavin. This trial is getting weirder and weirder. Indeed, it is. Cross-examination! Right, it's time to press everything. The only thing I really don't like about this is how slow that goes, and you can't change it. Kind of blows. That man, you mean Mr. Smith? Bum 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 bum. He was different from the other customers, his aura, shall we say. I knew he was a serious poker player, but it was more than that. So then, you knew the true nature of your client's job. Of course. But I also knew he wasn't engaged in gambling, which would be illegal. Well, it makes sense that he'd know. They were friends, after all. Worried for my friend, I returned to the club. You see, I feared this Mr. Smith might be someone coming to settle an old score. I see. What happened then? Okay. So I went down to the basement and peeked in through the little window to the hideout. The little window? You mean the one used to keep watch up the stairs? Yes, a relic of the ancient past. The Black Marketeers used it, I believe. Why did you go through the trouble of peeking in through the window? Wouldn't it have been easier to just open the door and go into the room? I didn't want to upset Wright, you see. Upset Mr. Wright? Yes, what if my fears had been unfounded? I'd be walking in on their match. Bad form, to say the least. So far everything he's saying makes sense. It's from right after the murder took place. How do you know it was right after the murder? Really, no need to shout, Justice. I was just getting to that part in my testimony. Ah, there he is. The coolest defense in the West. We know and love. Even when you're standing up there on the witness stand, some things never change. I was afraid you'd change too, right? But you haven't. You and that overbearing personality of yours. With friends like me, who needs enemies? The victim was dead, as he appears in the photo. By photo, you mean the second photograph of the crime scene? Precisely. You see, he wasn't wearing his hat then. I saw his head when he was dead. And then Mr. Wright came along and replaced his hat. Can you describe the scene of the crime for us? A bald head, an unconscious girl, and Wright holding a bottle in his hand. Those were the only three at the scene of the crime? Yes, as far as I saw, at least. Then we're back where we started. The killer was the defendant, Phoenix Wright. Who else could it have been? But why didn't you talk to the police? 2 reasons. Oh my god, my computer is real hot. Jesus. First, I didn't actually witness the very moment of the crime. Second, my office was asked to defend Wright. Even after seeing what I had seen, I couldn't abandon my friend. There must have been someone else there at the moment of the crime. Justice? I just said I saw no one. Not at all. But that goes against what Mr. Wright said. Ah yes, this mysterious fourth person. Who would conveniently be the real killer, I suppose. Glad to see we agree, Mr. Gavin. Let me pose a question then. Tell me, what possible reason did the real killer have to swap cards in the victim's hand? Perhaps you can show us a reason why such a thing would be necessary. How can I show something I can't find myself? Remember, Apollo, the card that was swapped out was the 5th ace. The 5th ace? Right. Well, Mr. Justice, the question of why the killer would swap out a card has been raised. Can you point out point to a reason? I can. It's that trump card. It's now or never. The defense would like to present evidence to the court. Evidence showing the reason why a card was swapped out. Then go ahead and point out your reason, Mr. Justice. Why did the killer take out the 5th ace? Because it was covered in blood. My reason is, this. Is that an ace? Why? Why, it's got blood on it. Right next to the spade. What? Oh, he's cracking, slightly. What? Yeah, we got given this as a gift. This is insane. Why wasn't I told about this? Why? Could this be? Could this be the missing 5th ace? Inconceivable. How could you? What are you doing with that card? Well, that's the thing. Why is Mr. Gavin so upset? It's just a fishy card from some fishy girl. Oh, that card? It's mine. That is, I picked it up at the Bosch Ball Club that night after the murder had occurred. I gave it to my daughter. Cards are her stock in trade, after all. No. Impossible. Unacceptable. The court can't accept this evidence. It's a fraud. A fraud? How can you be so sure? What? I would think the only person who could claim it was a fraud would be the one